They also began working on a track from, I believe, the Batman Returns
Mm.
soundtrack album, and that is where they meet the engineer on that track is named Neil Davidge, and he becomes kind of a big name going forward. I believe he was actually formerly a classmate of Mushrooms, but the band and him kind of connected that point, and he's a big name going forward. But for now that we've kind of summed up where the band has come from, and again, big hat tip to Melissa for extending that where they came from, like all the way back to like ancient
The, the
times.
the the true roots, yeah.
Yeah, it's that's an awesome interview. If you haven't, we did things a little bit backwards where we posted the interview before we posted this episode. But if you haven't listened to the full interview with Melissa, that's a really good one, just like all our interviews. But for now, I believe it's time for a break. So this week it looks like we have the return of a segment that I think we've been leaving out a few times here. But for listeners who don't know, my co-host Helio is in another life a true top chef, to the stars, to
The moons.
restaurants, to his family, to passerby. Um,
My chicken nuggets are, you know,
yes, top tier.
elite.
They've got to be.
Dinosaur.
They got to
Dinosaur.
be.
Dinosaur
But
chicken parm.
yeah, but we take advantage of this every now and then by doing a segment we call "Meet Me in the Bathroom," and that's MEAT, meet me, a joke that works fantastic in audio format.
Mm.
Where we ask him to pair a dish with the album of the week. So take it away, Helio. What do you have for Massive Attacks Mezzanine?
Well, this week, I'm not actually going to bring any meat into the bathroom, strangely enough. But one of the tracks
Usually a good
on,
idea.
yeah, exactly. One of the tracks on Mezzanine, Inertia Creeps, there was just too delicious of a recipe to pass up, and that was making some inertia crepes. So for this one, wanted to go with a little bit of the cultural background of Massive Attack, fuse in some of that Jamaican reggae stuff, a little bit of the English factor going on as well. So I did crepes that are filled with like a jerk braised mushroom, with some butter braised cabbage, and topped with a little bit, a teardrop, if you will, of plantain chutney.
Yes,
And you can
that
find
sounds
that
all right.
we do have a Substack, the Indy 500 podcast on there. We try and do a recipe every so often, like Reddy was saying, and yeah, I think there's probably 10, 15 of them on there at this point, and all tasty.
Yeah, you've got the startings of a book there.
Ex-
Once we get
that's
our
what I'm
due
saying.
attention, somebody's
Exactly.
gonna want. All right, we haven't hit up the news in a long time, but we did have a few. We did have a few bits here. I think the headline and one that you'll have to elaborate on for us. One of the OG and possibly I don't was he the last OG member of the Grateful Dead? Bob Weir had passed earlier this last week.
Surprisingly, the percussionists are still around, Mickey Hart and Bill Kreutzmann. But yeah, Bob Weir, like you said, one of the OGs, joined the band when he was 15. And really he was kind of the, I don't know, the yin and yang to him and Jerry. If it wasn't Jerry singing on a song, you heard Bob's voice. If it wasn't uh, Jerry taking the lead on guitar, it was Bob. Yeah, and I laugh at the tweet that surfaced. Tell me how big of a Grateful Dead fan you are, and he responded to the tweet saying, I never missed a show.
Yeah,
Like,
I've been to
I,
all their shows.
yeah, I've been to all their shows. Yeah, I mean, he was the rock, and he was the guy that really kept things going no matter what iteration. After Jerry passed of the band, Bob was always there, whether it's Dead and Company, Further, the Dead, whatever they called the last little bit of things here with John Mayer. And I think one of the cool things that's it's surfaced more and more is that he believed that his music, and the music of the Dead would be around for 300 years. And that was kind of his goal in all of it, was like to make long-lasting music that everybody can have, everybody can share. And he's really encouraged that by not only keeping guys like John Mayer in the group to keep things going, but even the smaller tribute bands, Dark Star Orchestra, things of that nature, where these guys are just touring off the Dead's music, and some people might be inclined to say, "Hey, give me royalties,
Oh yeah,
give me a
it would be
cut."
it's
Yeah,
almost trivially easy to shut down that sort of thing now when you have
totally,
the money to do so.
exactly. And yeah, he was, he's just more of like, the music's for everybody. Play it, make people happy. He's always characterized as a bit of a joker, and I got to think, to get to survive the Dead that long, you probably have to have a pretty good sense of humor going. And I mean, yeah, for as hard as those guys partied, I mean, he lived, yeah, nearly 30 years longer than Jerry. So I mean, impressive.
Yeah,
I'm glad I got
if
to
he
see
wanted
him a couple
300
times. Yeah,
years, he's closing in on like 130 or now.
right, right, exactly. Yeah, no, I got to see him a couple times. First time was with one of his bands called Rat Dog, that also did a lot of Dead stuff as well. I got to see him with the Dead, no Jerry, of course. Dead and Allman Brothers in one show was pretty amazing. And then,
Whoa.
yeah, just this
Okay.
last year, got to see him at the Sphere. So definitely had, some good experiences, great music, and, so long. Thanks for the hell of a trip there. Yeah.
In other news, we've got um, recurring recurring villain possibly of the podcast. Mr. Morrissey is tentatively coming back on the scene. Uh, he
Mm.
has announced a new album and did release a single, both called "Makeup Is a Lie."
Hmm.
And he's resumed an activity he seems to enjoy a lot, which is scheduling and then canceling live shows.
He's
I
the friend. He's the friend that always agrees to go out, and then
oh
oh yeah, no, I don't.
oh yeah,
I can't.
that
I can't
he's
tonight. Yeah.
in this regard he is very millennial coded.
Yeah, totally.
He loves canceling plans.
I mean, is he a
Um,
villain, or is he just, a good like constant to keep us tethered in reality? Like, no
yeah,
matter what goes on, we'll always have Morrissey canceling shows.
yeah, yeah. It's debatable. I mean, I did
Right.
describe him as a video game boss that you meet early, um, in the last time we were talking about him. But yeah, there's no at least so far there's no direct hard feelings. More confused feelings after Vauxhall and I.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, very.
Um,
But as long as you just don't stay away from the political and
yeah,
societal rants of his, we'll be all right,
yeah.
I think.
You know, if we if we just keep in our minds what we're what we're assigned so far, and I mean, I guess there is the input from our enemy friends, and basically any Brit that we bring on the show that who has a
Seems to have
second
some
opinion
sense
on.
about him. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
but yeah, we'll say so far, mysterious entity, Morrissey, back in the
Is it safe
news.
to is it safe and insulting to say he's like the British Ted Nugent?
Yeah, I mean, he's obviously more popular
Right, right. I mean, and maybe
than Ted
not as
Nugent is to
insane.
us.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I would venture to say perhaps he's their Kanye, but I don't know
Mm,
that he's done anything.
he's not that fucked up.
I
Yeah.
think I mean I'd have to go back and review because they're kind of in the same his misdeeds are a little bit in the same arena, but I don't think he's been as outspoken as Kanye. But
Yeah. Kanye's.
we'll get our time to discuss both of those
Oh yeah,
eventually.
and I think
Yeah.
I sent you that link for that new documentary that came out, and uh, I I I want to watch it, but I don't know if I
And
can
we'll
tolerate
have
it.
to specify that is a new documentary about Kanye, not
Mhm.
not Morrissey.
Yeah,
I'm
I
sure
would
there's
watch
some
a
nuances
documentary
there
about
as well.
Morrissey. Yeah.
Okay. And then the final note here, I wonder if this is tonight. But the
I
band
believe
Geese is
so.
going to be on SNL. Is that right?
They
It
are.
hasn't already happened.
Uh,
Has it already happened? If we're a little look behind the scenes, this particular episode, you may have noticed, is taking a little longer to get together. So I do have a note here that says Geese will be on SNL, and I don't know if they already have yet, or if
that is tonight. Yeah.
okay. So tonight, as of recording, we are recording on Saturday morning. Uh, so yeah, I would say tune in, but it's already happened. So go look it up on YouTube. I bet it's great.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's interesting to me. I think I'm trying to think if there's been a rock band in the last 15 years, and maybe you'd agree that maybe had the hype that they have. I don't know.
The kind of the consensus.
The consensus, like that feel of like the Strokes, the
Yeah,
next big
I was gonna say this.
thing.
I was gonna say the Strokes.
Yeah, it likens me. It reminds me a lot of kind of that feel of like we're definitely hyping him up. I think one thing that's really cool is the lead guy Cameron Winter is really not shy about making a name for himself as well. Doing his own
Hmm.
solo material, doing his own like cool solo shows at colleges and concert halls and stuff. So yeah, I think if
That
they
is
stay
also
healthy
very
and stay on the right track, yeah,
yeah. That's also very Strokesy of them.
yeah, right,
I mean, it took Julian a few albums, but yeah, he was also into solo stuff too.
totally,
But yeah, I get the same feeling. I mean, I guess we'll see where it goes. I wouldn't say I'm, this is I sort of recognize that this is, this generation's version of it, and I don't know if it's just us and Pitchfork who are who are really, that sort of set who are really pushing it. But if it's theirs and that's theirs, like sweet. It's always good
yeah,
when it's always good when that band comes along. It's
totally.
especially when they live up to it.
And like I've listened to plenty of their stuff,
Hmm.
and his
Yeah,
solo album
same.
as well.
Finally,
And
yeah, same. Finally, I think last week we were talking about we need. Or it might have been the Christmas episode where we were talking about like, oh, we really need to get into people's best of the year lists and like listen to
mhm,
some of these. And yeah, like Geese and or heavy metal by Karen
Cameron
Winter
Winter,
and
yeah,
Getting Killed by Geese are two that I did actually make time for to listen to as well, and they're
yeah,
both good.
and they're really good. Like, I'm self-aware enough to say like being of a certain age, I don't know if it'll have the same impact it will, if like this band came along when I was 17, like the Strokes did, and it was kind of like, oh, this is what rock is now.
Yeah,
But yeah,
and
they're
and
still
it's
really
definitely
good.
interesting. It's not there's kind of a there's kind of with the Strokes there was kind of a simple everyman, uh, you know, anybody can get into this kind of sound, and that's kind of what I was expecting. But it's sort of not like a lot of people put the Strokes comparison on them. I think because Cameron Winter kind of takes his vocal cue sound wise from Julian, but there's a lot more kind of experimental
Very,
and progressive
yeah,
sound to it than I expected from a band that was so widely regarded.
yes, they're very dynamic, and I mean, they're
Hmm.
yeah, very diverse set of sounds, even just on the one album. The ones that came before this as well, yeah, really good too. I mean, I'd encourage you to check them out if you haven't. But um, this one's
Yeah,
definitely
they
a
have
hit maker.
our endorsement as well, so
Hey, hey,
they can finally go ahead and become big.
yeah. Usually when we talk about somebody, they announce a tour or going to the Rock Hall or something. So
Yep.
you,
Hmm.
you have us to thank.
The old IFP bump.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, okay. Returning out of the break, what we have next is we're going to travel back in time to the year this album came out. Woohoo! We're here in 1998. Um, it's 420 all.
What? Yeah, bruh.
It's a Monday, and we've traveled back 27 years. So let's orient ourselves and pop on the radio. Looks like the number one song in the USA is called Too Close by a band called Next.
Oh, the song's on you, requested, you're dancing like you're naked. Oh, it's almost like we're sexing. Oh, yeah. Yeah, boo, I like it.
Yeah,
No,
that's
I can't.
that's pretty classic.
That's
That's a
peak '90s R&B right there.
yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's pure uncut.
Yeah, boo. I like it.
Yeah, this song is from their debut album called Rated Next. It went platinum. The song is their biggest hit. It's built around a sample of Christmas Rappin' by Curtis Blow and was produced by KG, who was a member of Naughty by Nature, who had signed the group to his own label after being impressed by a demo he got a hold of. The album was largely recorded in KG's own home studio, and Billboard at the time describes the song. They say, quote, RL, Terry, and Raphael moan and groan about their female dance partners grinding and shaking, and their respective bulges as a result, atop a Chicago-style step dance production.
I thought you were gonna say Chicago style pizza for a second.
No,
Showed you where my mind's at. Jeez.
no, yeah, I don't think neither of us have had breakfast yet, so
Yeah, I mean, just don't put a bulge on top of my Chicago
Yeah.
style pizza. We'll be
there you
fine.
go. But you can grind and shake a good amount.
Some
of,
Parmesan. Yeah.
yeah, there you go. The number one, moving on. The number one song in the UK is a remix of "It's Like That" by Run DMC by a DJ named Jason Nevins. Again,
Nice.
a very demonstrative sound from the 90s there. Almost interesting that both of these are from 98, because that's a little bit late. Yeah, this is like
Yeah.
right on the edge of when things begin to change into that time of that era that we spoke about with Primal Scream, where it's like 99 to 9/11 happening. Where
Totally.
things get a little weird. But these two are, if you would have told me that was the number one songs USA and UK from like 92, 93, I would have been like, yes, of course.
Yeah, it's a good 5-6 year window where these could have been anywhere in there.
Yeah, very interesting. Speaking on the world in general, in the USA, we are once again visiting the presidency of Bill Clinton. He is now fully embroiled in the Monica Lewinsky scandal, having gone on TV to say, I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
That's not Bill Clinton. That's just one of your hillbilly bears.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Jay,
Yeah.
people can't tell the difference.
He, yeah. Fans of the critic. Yeah, and I think we'll stop and mention this here because I don't know when else we'll get to, but everybody should go and watch The Critic. It was kind of if you don't know, it was kind of a sister show to The Simpsons. The star voice of it was John Lovitz, and it was very it was very Hollywood and kind of New
Very
York
Sharp,
based.
sardonic. Yeah.
Yeah, really good.
Full
Go
of
watch.
endless.
I'm sure
endless
there's
parody.
free episodes out there now. But yeah, please go watch The Critic.
in the multiverse where this show breaks big and is world renowned. We get offered side jobs as critic revival writers. So be on the lookout for that someday, folks.
Yes, you never know. But Bill Clinton, he did have sexual relations with that woman. The investigations into that and around him lying to Congress, basically hamstring him for the entire year, and eventually culminates in an impeachment hearing for lying under oath and obstructing justice.
I can't believe a president would have the gall to do something like that. Like, God,
Yeah,
get him out of there.
I think I think this may be general knowledge now, but I I think before this year it was a little confusing. Impeaching a president means that he's been charged with something, not that he's been kicked out of office. so
Right.
so when you hear that Bill Clinton and Donald Trump have been impeached, just remember that being impeached doesn't mean you get kicked out of office. I don't know.
Or
For the
Nixon
longest
was
time, it
going
felt
to
like everybody
Nixon was going to be right, and then he
yeah,
resigned.
and he
Yeah.
and he split out.
Yeah.
Boy, wouldn't that be nice?
Hmm.
Yeah,
We'll save you that rant, folks. No
Yeah.
problem.
it'll come. The Nixon rant. No, we're
Oh,
saving
the president's resigning.
yeah. You never know. Maybe we'll have a good reason for it. Anyways, at this time, James Cameron's Titanic sweeps the Oscars. And interesting that this comes up now. It ties Ben-Hur for awards won at 11, and it broke the record at the time for nominations with 14, which we have just recently found out has again been broken by the movie Sinners with 16 nominations. Oh,
Yeah.
you did put a note in here about that. Good. Okay. I see.
Yeah. No, because I mean, have you seen it?
I have not. I haven't seen it. I keep trying to set aside time for one battle after another, and I think I have a feeling when I do that, or whenever I find time to do that, the dam is gonna break, and I'm just gonna watch like 3 or 4 of these that I keep saying I need to see.
Good. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I know there's more categories than there ever was, so it's part of it. But I don't get the 16, but I don't know. I'm not on the committee either. It's a good
There
movie,
seems
but
to be a bit of an overcorrection with the Academy being accused this recent era of never giving kind of pulp and genre movies their due. They gave Guillermo del Toro the Best Picture award for the movie about a woman having sex with a fish man. And I would have
I'm
thought
Troy
that would've-
McClure.
I would have thought that would have done it for them. Our bona fides
Right.
are secure. Guillermo del Toro is clearly a beloved genre director. And I believe that movie was called The Shape of Water.
Yes,
I'm
that is
blanking.
correct.
Okay. Yeah. So, we've got that. And then this year I saw there's like 5 or 6 different, I think, acting nominations for people in horror movies. So again,
Yeah, his Frankenstein actually got a couple nods
yeah.
as well.
And so did Weapons, and I think they count. I'm sure they count
Weapons
Sinners
did?
in this same kind of. Yeah.
Oh wow.
I know at least. I forget her name.
The lady.
but the scary lady from
Yeah.
Weapons did
Oh,
get a
wow.
nod. Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I don't have a problem with that. If they could go back in time and recognize The Thing as the greatest movie of all time, that would be great. But
That'd be
maybe
kinda-
maybe a lifetime achievement for Mr. Carpenter or something like that.
That'd be cool.
Before this wave is over.
Yeah, I mean, I always think like I can't believe they nominated that, and then I realized like, oh yeah, The Exorcist has actually won like Oscars and things like that too. So I think it goes in
Yeah.
waves, and
I think- Yeah, that was kind of one of those like cultural mega bombs though that like they were like not allowed to snub. So
right, exactly.
So again, in this year, this is also the year that at a King of the Ring pay-per-view event, the Undertaker infamously throws Mankind, the wrestler, not the
Not all of
totality
humanity.
yeah, not the totality of human, throws Mankind off of Hell in a Cell, the Hell in a Cell structure surrounding the ring, where he fell more than 16 feet and landed on an announce table. And I believe I have a clip of this actually.
I believe you do.
What's going to happen here? Undertaker fighting back. He's fighting back. They're right above us, folks. And I don't like it a damn bit. Oh, my God. Look out. Oh, man! The God Almighty! The God Almighty! They killed him! Oh, my God. As God is my witness, he is broken in half.
So you may know better than me. Is that the most widely known WWE spot of all time?
I think in modern times, yeah. The only one like ever I can think of that might come close is like Hulk Hogan body slamming Andre the Giant at WrestleMania, like the first one way back when. But I think if you were to ask like anybody around our age or younger, like they'd probably say that's the one that sticks out. The call is so good, just the
Yeah, that contributes.
the visual of like this dude getting thrown off the top of a 16-foot high cage. I mean, like the whole thing is just like a surreal. This is planned. This is a TV. The hell is this? Yeah. So I mean,
Are
it was
you allowed to do that?
yeah. I mean, I definitely enjoyed and still enjoy watching wrestling and stuff like that. And at the time, there was another thing going on called ECW, which was like the hardcore wrestling where much more blood and crazy spots like that. And so it was kind of like, this is pretty cool. And then all of a sudden WWE starts doing it. It's like, okay, yeah, now they have the production value behind it too. And
Yeah, they're like, eyes back here, please.
yeah, exactly. Hard to top that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Also
maybe
with this-
if I was to think of like one more, it's maybe like the Vince McMahon pulling off the hood. It's me, Austin. It's always been me. But just for the cheese factor.
I did also see. I don't know how widely known or big it was, but maybe you can put it in a context. Shane McMahon like falling backwards off of the jumbotron into not an announce table, but kind of a little bit of a prepared area, but still like.
Yeah. Man, that was pretty amazing. Just because like I don't want to say the guy's not a professional wrestler because he's certainly done his share of stuff in the ring and on screen, but like this is the owner's son, like just showing up for an event like every once or 1 or 2 years, and all of a sudden he's flying 30 feet off of something. Like,
Yeah.
good for you, dude. That's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now we got Bad Bunny and Jake Paul and all these who the fuck are these guys? But they're all
Yeah, I think,
people
I think
realize
when they sort of mixed it up with, when you can do something like that and kind of get like the jackass cred, I think a lot of people were like, "Oh, okay, like I get this, I get it."
totally exactly. It kind of if you're willing to go that far for the entertainment, I think the fans will
There's
embrace
room
you.
for you.
Yeah, like even Jake Paul, as much as I think people like want to hate on him, like dude's got a full-time contract now. He's on these pay-per-views because he gets eyeballs on the screen and he gives it his all. I mean, at least he's not fighting geriatric boxers like his brother.
Yeah. Yeah, precisely. Also at this time, Google Incorporated has been founded and started a campus in Menlo Park, California.
Who?
Google. The former Google motto was "Do no evil," but once you make that much money, it's a little bit unavoidable. It seems.
As Bobby Fleischman from Spinal Tap once said, money talks and bullshit walks.
Yeah, precisely. Speaking of which, the quote, the Sonny Bono Copyright Term Extension Act is passed, and it grants copyright holders 20 more years of protections. But despite being credited to Sonny Bono, the act is often referred to as the Mickey Mouse Copyright Term Extension because it just happened to be passed as Mr. Steamboat Willie, Mickey Mouse's first appearance, would have become public domain. And I think this was the last time, but basically, like, before this, every single time Steamboat Willie came up for public domain, Disney would like throw a bunch of money at some congressman, and then all of a sudden, like, oh, you get a couple more years. But this time, this last one that gave them 20 is like the last time that they fought it, because I believe just recently, Steamboat Willie did lapse into public domain. So look out soon for Helio's animated debut film, Steamy Willie's Erotic Discharge, coming to Nightmares Everywhere this fall.
Yeah, I've been working on that one for a while, waiting for the.
Yeah, you've put a lot of effort into that, and a lot of people say this is just a cash grab, thanks to the license ending. But this is, there's art behind this. Okay.
Oh, I mean, I had Charlie Kaufman consult on the script too, so like it's a passion project about passion with Steamboat Willie.
Yes.
For some reason.
Yes. Over in the UK, Tony Blair is prime minister via the Labour Party. The island is still reeling from the death of Princess Diana, which happened just a bit ago, August of 1997. And a tribute concert is being held, featuring several of Diana's favorite artists, including Cliff Richard, David Hasselhoff, Jimmy Ruffin, Lawrence Gowan, who is the keyboardist from Styx, and Duran Duran. And I believe you have a note here that says...
I do have a note, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I feel bad mouthing her, but I guess it's been long enough. But yeah, I mean,
you can't do it on a podcast, do we?
Right. Shit taste in men and shit taste in performers. I mean, Duran Duran's good, but really, if Hasselhoff showed up to my funeral to sing or to pay tribute, like, I'd come back from the dead and tell him to fuck off.
Yeah. Phil Collins did not perform, but he did chime in on an interview to say that the ticket price for the tribute concert at £39.5 per ticket was too high.
Well, then he got to headline Hullabalala, so it all worked out.
Good for him. The Good Friday Agreement is signed, marking the end of the Troubles, which is the UK name for their armed conflict with Northern Ireland, restoring Northern Ireland's right to self-govern, establishing civil and political rights, policing reform, and a disarmament of their Irish paramilitary groups, as well as the release of paramilitary prisoners held by the British. John Hume of Ireland and David Trimble from the UK would go on to win that year's Nobel Peace Prize for their efforts to have the agreement enacted.
Did they gift him to anybody, or did they hang on to him?
I think they held on to those. Yeah, they didn't. They didn't get into the new hotness, which is exchanging it for
and microwaving it to see what's on the inside.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Helio is still watching the 1994 action thriller Blown Away, starring Tommy Lee Jones as an IRA bomber, and Jeff Bridges, who is out to catch him. A soundtrack full of the best of U2. Interesting.
Did you ever see that movie, or do you remember it?
No, I've not seen that movie. I've heard of it though.
Yeah, it says a lot about me and my headspace when I was a teenager, but definitely one of my favorites. He's this crazed bomber, and there's the dude trying to track down Tommy Lee Jones, who's not in a law enforcement role for once.
Yeah, I don't know if it does, but I hope it still happens where, back in those days, you would just kind of stumble upon like a CD or a VHS that, you inherit, or that like fell off a truck, ended up in a bargain bin at a Blockbuster for like 99 cents. And like just these random ass movies will become like something you ended up seeing like 10 times.
Oh yeah,
just
I
because
think
just because it's there.
what I used to do, and this is, dating ourselves quite a bit as we'd like to do here. Um, every once in a while you get like a free preview weekend of HBO, and when I knew it was coming, I would go to the store and ask my mom to buy a couple of VHS tapes so I
There
could
you go. Yeah.
record like movies, and I would just like look at the listings in the TV guide or the on-screen thing and be like, okay, what's coming up in the next 3 days, and set up
Yes.
all these recordings to do. So for the next month, 2 months until the next one, I'd have this tape full of HBO movies. Like, oh,
Hell yeah.
here's one with Blown Away on it. Here's one with whatever Pauly Shore hunk of crap was out.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, it was a kind of cheap way to build up your collection.
Yeah. Right on. I'm trying to remember what kind of stuff I had like that. I don't know. I'll think on
I
it.
remember I had a tape with the first two Die Hard movies on it, and it was the TV edits, and I would always bring it over to my grandma's house when I was sick, and here's grandma like 9 o'clock in the morning, bringing me like something to eat, and sits down and watching Die Hard with me, and just kind of like appalled by the whole thing, and then puts on Price is Right as soon as I'm done, like, okay, time to watch my shows now. You
Yeah.
you can go away now. Yeah.
Yeah, well, to bring it full circle, one of the titles that I definitely remember we had kind of in that same recorded off the TV format was Princess Bride. Like, and that's, I don't know if that's the case for everybody, but that's probably the reason I've seen that like a zillion times.
It's a dang good reason and a dang good movie. Yeah.
Yeah. So speaking on the exact day of 4/20, 1998, on that exact day, the Boston Marathon was held. It was won by Moses Tunui of Kenya for the men's title, coming in at 2 hours, 7 minutes, 34 seconds. And Fatuma Roba of Ethiopia won her back-to-back title for the women's event in 2 hours, 23 minutes, and 21 seconds.
Yeah, whereas it might take me 2 hours, 23 minutes, and 21 seconds to run a freaking mile at this point.
Oh, yeah. oh, yeah. I always take some breaks in there, You gotta.
Yeah, might have to Uber that one.
Yeah. Yeah. So in this month of April, on the 7th, beloved British surrealist fever dream and children's TV show, The Teletubbies debuts. The exact day on the Good Friday Agreement signing was April 10th. On April 27th, there's a benefit concert held at Carnegie Hall called Rock for the Rainforest, and performers include, apologies to Miss Diana, Sting, Elton John, James Taylor, Madonna, Billy Joel, Joe Cocker, Emmylou Harris, friend of the pod, Roberta Flack, Winona Judd, and I don't know why I wrote down this name. I must have just copy and pasted.
C.D. LaLoca? Yeah.
C.D. LaLoca. Maybe you want to Google that one and tell me
Yeah.
how they ended up aside Madonna and Elton John and Sting there.
Let's see what we got here.
Butt in when you know, but I'll keep going. Born this month.
She is an actress, singer, and composer from South Africa.
Okay.
She's known for originating the role of Rafiki in the original Broadway production of Disney's stage musical The Lion King.
Okay. All right. Go
There
on.
you go.
Born this month, Elle Fanning, star of Screen and also smaller screen, appearing in Hideo Kojima's Death Stranding 2, which I shamefully own and have not played all the way through yet. Rapper Sexy Red, also born this month. Died this month, Linda McCartney, Paul's wife and member of Wings. Tammy Wynette, a country singer known for, among others, I believe we have a clip here of what she was known for.
We sure do.
Be proud of him, 'cause after all, he's just a man. Stand by your man, give him 2 arms to cling to, and something warm to come to when nights are cold.
quite a drop when that chorus comes in.
Isn't it though? Yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty good.
Yeah. Stand Aside, EDM artists, uh, Gesaffelstein, and
Yeah. Tammy
Skrillex.
Wynette's got you beat.
Let yeah, let Tammy show you how it's done.
Totally. Even the Blues Brothers version of that in the movie is good, but it doesn't capture that same energy of that drop right there.
Yeah, it's it's got the juice. It really does. Another other people who passed this month: Canadian journalist Nick Aufdemar, who is actually the father of elite '90s bassist Melissa Aufdemar, who had played with Hole, Smashing Pumpkins, Team Sleep, and more. Perhaps related, her father, Nick, he was also famous for an incident in a promotional event being held by Hank Harrison, who was Courtney Love's estranged father, for the quote unquote documentary, and I'm doing air quotes here, the documentary Kurt and Courtney, where he was insinuating basically that his own estranged daughter had arranged for Kurt Cobain's death. And Nick Aufdemar stormed the stage, stole the microphone, and denounced Harrison. So good for him. Bit of a
I mean,
bit of a bit of 90s rock history going on here.
raise your hand though if you haven't blamed your kid for a celebrity's death. Yeah, I don't see any hands.
Yeah. No. Cam- Cambodian dictator and leader of the Khmer Rouge, Pol Pot, also died this month.
You know,
Helio's got a note here.
here on this 4/20/1998, I can't help but wonder why is there not a strain of weed named after him? Like if you just walked
Are
into
we 100% sure there's not?
I'm not. I'm not sure, but I guess like the genocide would probably be like the
Yeah.
number
there's
one
some-
reason.
There's some connotations there, but I feel like I've seen strain names that aren't. I don't know. Not
Let's
exactly the most culturally sensitive. I'll say.
well, let's see. I don't. On a Reddit thread that popped up on Google, the question asks, "Is Pol Pot really dank weed?"
Well,
So, but other than that, nothing really
I
seems
think
to
I think the
come
I
up
think
for
the
it.
answer here. I think that one kind of leans on exactly which subreddit is that from.
That is from Shitty Ask History.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So I think it's an intentional trolling
see,
of like-minded
Yeah, see, I was
folks.
gonna say if that's from a weed related subreddit, then I would say maybe we found it. But because it's from a shitty history subreddit, I think it's not. This
Yeah.
is the investigative journalism you get here on the Indy 500 podcast.
As well as the think tank. Yeah, I'm not saying it's a good idea. It's just a thought.
Yep. And then finally, James Earl Ray, who had shot and killed Martin Luther King, dies this month in prison of kidney disease.
Good.
So that's the year that was. That's kind of the world, as I often say that Mezzanine is born into. But now that we've got all that set, I think we can finally talk about this week's album, which is Massive Attack's Mezzanine. So one more time, it's number 215 on the NME Top 500 Albums of All Time list. It was released once again on April 20th, 1998.
Bruh.
And I was trying to think back to other albums where the artists involved are contentious or fighting. The two that popped to mind were Noise 75 and Outkast. But I don't think any band, at the specific time of the album has been as at odds as as Massive Attack is with each other at this point. The vibes are in shambles, as some would say. Tricky is fully out of the band by the time production starts. relationships between the three remaining members, Daddy G, 3D, and Mushroom, are basically strained to the breaking point. They've sort of discovered through the crucible of touring and recording these couple of albums together, they don't like each other. I believe Melissa may have even mentioned that they hate each other at some points. At some points here. Okay, and I'll put a mark clip. If we haven't already played it, Melissa's clip H goes here. Dun dun dun. Clap, clap, clap. Okay. And we're back. Unless I'm unless I'm forgetting something, like, this really is like the worst infighting that we have for a group. I mean, both Noi75 and Outkast, their kind of loggerheads that they were at resulted in split albums. Like, they even though they may not, I don't know if they were out and out fighting. Maybe Noi was, but those groups at that point said, "Look, let's just let's go work on our own."
Yeah.
Albums,
We got to put out an
basically.
album because of the record label, but otherwise we probably wouldn't be in the same room together.
Yeah. And, apparently this does not occur to anyone other than Tricky. Like, all three of them, despite not liking each other, are still like, well, what are we going to do? We are Massive Attack. So, unsurprisingly, all three of them arrive with kind of very different ideas of what the album should be. Del Naja / 3D is he's kind of chafing at the trip hop label. He's heard them called coffee table music and was highly offended. He's a big advocate for a reinvention, more integration of guitar work and kind of post-punk and industrial sounds that he's been into before. Mr. Vowels / Mushroom is really pushing back hard for a return to their hip hop and reggae origins. And he's also increasingly wanting to involve some of the group's new, like, high profile friends into the mix. I don't know if we've talked about it before here, but between Blue
We did not.
Lines and
Yeah.
like Mezzanine, like, the amount of kind of fame and popularity that they had at the time, like, kind of shocked me every time it came up and was described. Like, I was not aware. Like, they are getting into, like, any party they want. They have again, I forget if we've mentioned it, but they're working together with Madonna on collaborative tracks. They wanted to work with Shaka Khan and actually had her on board, but Daddy G and 3D said that, like, when they were on the phone with her, she was like shit talking their band or something, and they said no thanks. Just, yeah,
It's a good reason,
There's
yeah.
all kinds of there's all kinds of different, like when I looked up clips and stuff, they're like, oh, they're hanging out with all the like the cream of the crop. Like, I had no idea that they were that big at the time, but they really were.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's, pictures of parties with like them and the Gallaghers and, Damon Albarn and basically, that the whole scene going
Yeah.
together. And
Yeah, they're right up there,
I forget,
especially in the UK.
Did Martin say if they had any connections like that, or were they different circles?
Boy, I'm blanking on it. But yeah, spoiler alert, we do have a third interview coming up with Professor Rave, where we did ask him a bit about the crossover between the Prodigy and Massive Attack, and I remember there was some sort of crossover. There is a
Was it Spawn soundtrack or something?
I don't think it was that. I think there's a collaboration track. I don't remember what it's for, but I think the anecdote he tells is basically that it's like a lost track that everybody is like constantly asking him about. But you'll hear, that's a preview of that episode. So and I actually had a kind of a hard time finding out exactly what Daddy G wanted out of the album artistically. But whatever it was, it did seem to lean closer to what 3D wanted, and that would kind of result in the two of them often forming an alliance to kind of outvote Mushroom on a lot of matters during production. But not even that alliance did enough to like bridge the gap between 3D and Daddy G. Like they're still, all three of them are still not happy with each other, even as they're working on this album.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of got the vibe originally that he was kind of the Derek Smalls, the lukewarm water between the fire and ice. But yeah, it definitely sounded like Daddy G was a little bit more like, okay, 3D says this is what we're doing. This is what we're doing. Right on, whatever.
Yeah.
Not necessarily putting up a fight, but also not on everybody's side.
Yeah. I'm going to drop another marker here. A little clap. Melissa's clip J goes here. And we are back. So much of the actual work of the album was done like completely separately by the members. So the producer of the album, Neil Davidge, who I had mentioned before, former classmate of Mushroom, a friend of 3D's and an accomplished DJ on his own already. He's acting as like a home base kind of go-between engineer and referee between all three of them. He's like a human glue that's holding Massive Attack together. Like they are, Melissa may have mentioned it, but they are literally taking turns in the studio. Neil will be there with one of them working on tracks, and then another one will come in. The one who was there will say, "See ya." And the new one will sit in with Neil, work on some of their tracks, mess around with other tracks, and then the next member
there'd
will
be
come
days
in.
where one of them would come and like straight up change the tape. I don't want to listen to that shit.
Yeah,
And
they'll
do
be
their
like,
thing.
I don't want to hear this, or even worse, they'll listen to it and say, change this, for one that's like not theirs, and then the other person will come back and be like, what the hell happened? But that is basically like the structure of work for this album. Oh yes, there's a quote here from Neil that says, I quote, "I'd be in the studio working with one of the members, somebody else would come in, and then the person I had been working with would leave, and I'd have to change the track I was working on because they didn't want to work on that track. They wanted to work on something different, and I'd be working on perhaps 4 different tracks in one day."
I mean, kudos to him for the flexibility, but damn, that's...
Yeah. Some more notes on the recording. One of the other common presences in the studio is a famed UK producer named Spike Stent. Stent had previously worked with them on Protection, and also prior to Mezzanine, he's worked on albums like Bjork's Homogenic, the Spice Girls album Spice, and Spice World. Spice World's getting a lot of mentions on this podcast.
Yeah, I mean, they're pretty damn big for a good stretch.
Yeah, I
there.
mean, I guess it makes sense. It's a
Yeah.
UK music related podcast. It's gonna happen.
That's true.
He's
Yeah.
also worked on Madonna's Bedtime Stories, Depeche Mode's Songs of Faith and Devotion, and a personal favorite, which I also have a clip lined up with, the KLF's The White Room.
KLF is gonna rock ya. KLF is gonna rock ya.
So yeah, and even after Mezzanine, he goes on to work with like an even bigger who's who in the industry, up to and including Beyonce and Oasis. So
I guess he did all right for himself.
yeah, Stent really turned the band on to working in a digital audio workstation, which was like really new technology at the time that let artists record audio into a computer rather than a tape, which frees up the amount of recording that you can do and introduces kind of a non-linear approach to the editing of songs. So Stent says in an interview with Sound on Sound magazine, he says, quote, what happened was that we mixed one track and then they would take that home and then that would suddenly become the intro for another track. And over a period of the time, the whole album would kind of come together like that. We may have mixed 20 tracks and some of them would become parts of other tracks. We were changing arrangements all the time. And so they were songwriting at the same time as mixing. Stent, Man After My Own Heart, also. One second, pause here. You want to use my computer?
I was about to use it.
You're about. Well, I need to use it for a little bit more. Can you play? Can you play Switch 2 or tablet for a little bit, and then I'll give you the computer?
To play like before.
Like PBS Kids. You can do that on Mom's computer. PBS Kids doesn't really work with the touchscreen anyway. Will that be okay?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm talking to Phil. I'll be done. Oh, it won't be much longer.
When you're done.
Yeah, when I'm done, you definitely can. One second, I'll be right back.
Yeah, no worries.
We have one of those like folding Chinese room dividers, and it's like it looked like it was pushed together enough that it was gonna like fall over.
Yeah,
Just
I got
knows,
one.
so.
I got one behind me. Those things are sketchy sometimes.
I mean,
They're
it's
great.
cool. Like the heavier it is, the less I believe it will fall over. But also, if it does fall over, it's going to kill somebody. So
Right. Don't want
it's
that.
it's a careful balance. Okay. If you want to let's drop one more clip. Get rid of all that, and then I will jump back into Mr.
You're good.
Stent. Okay.
I got you
one
marked.
second. There we go. Mr. Stent, a man after my own heart, also owns an extensive guitar pedal collection that the band were always super excited to play with and apply to sounds that were not always guitars. The most famous production incident from this album circles around the album's most played track, which is Teardrop. So Teardrop starts initially as a demo that Mushroom is creating titled No Don't. And he wanted to send that track's demo over to Madonna to create lyrics and vocals.
Because yeah, if you have the opportunity to work with Madonna in the '90s, you freaking work with Madonna.
Yeah, and I believe Melissa covers most of this in her clip, which we'll play. But one exception was how they had met Madonna in the first place, which I had sort of mentioned before. But so right before Mezzanine Massive Attack were asked to do they were asked to contribute a cover to a Marvin Gaye tribute album that was being put together for Motown called I Want You. And they initially wanted to work with Shaka Khan, which I had mentioned. You know, they get in touch with her, and 3D and Daddy G in interviews are kind of like, uh, something happened where she was rude to them, and so they went out and got a replacement, which was Madonna. And I do believe that track does exist on that album if you want to check it down. Um, but the saga of Teardrop is pretty widely noted as the moment that Mushroom, to use a COVID era phrase, quiet quits on the band, never to return.
Yeah, kind of a piece.
Drop another clip. Melissa Clip K goes here. Let me text my wife real quick. Okay. I said we'll probably wrap up in less than an hour. I think we're there. Okay. So most of the actual recording work is finished by the start of 1997, but the album's release date ends up being pushed another 4 months because, once again, something that often happens when a band switches over and starts to mess with the nonlinear kind of computer editing of music. 3D kind of begins to endlessly tinker and rework tracks.
Yeah, easy to do.
There's a track called Super Predators. That's kind of a B-side of this album. That's actually it's released on the soundtrack for the 1997 movie, the Bruce Willis and Richard Gere film, The Jackal. The album's an immediate giant hit in the UK. It debuts at #1. It goes double platinum and is well reviewed by basically everyone of note. In the US, it has a little more modest success. It peaks at #60 on our album charts. And at last check, the album has sold somewhere north of 3 million copies worldwide. So
Okay.
very well taken, very well received.
Yeah, I mean, especially as we're kind of creeping into the digital and piracy age there.
And if you, yeah, definitely, it's part of that kind of last class of albums that could probably do something like this. I think nowadays they factor in streams somehow into album sales, but I don't know exactly how. And I'm sure it's Fugazi.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. A few fun tracks before we get into to our thoughts. A few different tracks from this album do show up in movies and TV. Angel tracks a particularly important montage in the Guy Ritchie film Snatch. Guy Ritchie at the time is also Madonna's husband, so there may be some crossover there.
Which I'm trying to remember which part is that in?
So there's spoiler alert for for Guy Ritchie's Snatch, but it's the point where basically where Bricktop starts to take everybody very seriously, and he sets Brad Pitt / Mickey's mom's trailer on fire and kills her.
Or caravan?
Yeah, the dag and the caravan.
Very reasonably.
Yeah. So there's kind of a slow motion montage of of that bit and a few other things, and that's kind of when everything gets pretty serious in that movie.
They go in busting up Turkish's slot machines and stuff like that.
Yes.
I think too.
Yeah. It's Bricktop finally saying
Wreaking
I'm
havoc.
taking you all seriously now, and that's trouble for you.
Yep.
The track Teardrop lives on as the theme song to the TV show House, where Hugh Laurie is a rude doctor who is also on drugs. Dissolved Girl famously plays in The Matrix, and note, here's a word that I've been waiting to use on the podcast. It's used diegetically in that movie, which means that rather than just being a song that's being played out of nowhere, there's like an actual source for the sound on screen. Because Neo's headphones, as he's asleep at his computer at the start of it,
Right.
the song is playing out of them.
Interesting. I like that.
Yes,
That's a word of the
diegetically.
day if I ever heard
Yeah,
one. Yeah.
add that one to your little books. In 1996, the band is approached by Radiohead, who they had toured with previously, who asked them to do a full remix album of OK Computer. And I mean,
Man.
imagine, but the band does have to say no because they are deep into the midst of working on Mezzanine, and probably aren't in a great state to come together and take on another project altogether either.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
I mean,
I don't know
the
what
official
guy.
reason is
Yeah.
they're busy, but I think there's an unofficial reason as well.
I don't know what 3D's up to these days necessarily, but like if he still wants to do it, like I'd love to hear it.
Oh yeah, I'd take that in a jiff. Speaking of remixes, the Manic Street Preachers have a remix of Inertia Creeps that's included on that song's single release. Pitchfork has an entry in a YouTube series of theirs called 5 Minute Rundowns, where they do basically the opposite of this show, where they try and do a rundown of an album in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're some weird freak who doesn't want to spend 3 hours hearing about this album and various other things happening in 1998 and the lives of two old dads, they go on to describe the album as, quote, an exhilarating fusion of sample-based electronic music, reggae, and alienated post-punk minimalism with, quote, sleazy vibes. Which
I would agree with all that. Yeah.
yeah, I can't disagree with any of that. And then one last note about, Mushroom quitting out at this time. Melissa notes in her interview that Mushroom to this day, like, does not want to talk about Mezzanine or Massive Attack, like, in general at all when he's interviewed, which is interesting.
I mean, yeah, you should be. Yeah, I get it, but you should be proud of that stuff.
That's a long time to hold a grudge.
Yeah.
But I suppose, if you told me that, if I came to you and told you that I had like the podcast equivalent of Madonna booked and you and you shut me out, like, yeah, I'd probably have some feelings too.
You booked Yossi Solik, but I want to have on this guy I met at the bar the other day.
Yeah. That's that's probably the equivalent there. Yeah. Well, we've got time. It could happen. So one last Mark clip. Melissa clip P goes here. So let's get into our own opinions slash notes on tracks here. So what was your history and how did you feel about the album this time listening to it?
This is one of those ones that I think I said maybe at the top of the show. It's been a minute since we recorded that. But even when it came out, some way it found its way across my radar like 2 or 3 years later. I think, in that whole Radiohead, UK music discovery, reading the magazines and downloading everything we could find and just absorbing as much stuff. And this one became like a regular, like, put on at bedtime album for me. Just kind of cool enough,
It's
dark
definitely
enough.
a nighttime album.
Yeah. And
I'm not listening to this one in the summer in the morning.
No, I mean, knowing so much more context, I wouldn't call it relaxing now, but like it just has such a relaxing, like chill vibe to it. And, as much as I hate it, it is the sound that inspired like that whole, 21st century fancy hotel lobby music, which is, it's just relaxing and inviting. And I definitely took a long break from hearing this one, another cool like thing was I got to see Tricky live in 2001, opening for Tool. So again, it became kind of more of an awareness of like this sound, this scene. You know, was a fan of Tricky, you know, and his music. Not so much the fact that he's making it. Um,
Yeah, it
Zoolander
sounded like a
moment
lot of
there.
people at that show were not
Yeah.
thrilled.
Yeah, it was yeah, there was a lot of yelling and booing. It was kind of disappointing. But it was very cool for me in retrospect to like, hey, I saw, you know, Tricky. At the time, it was kind of like lost on me,
It's
just
so
Massive
it's
Attack.
so
Okay,
funny how often that happens to an opening act when like when you really sit down and you think of the alternative is that you're just going to be sitting here in silence or listening to somebody's mixtape for like 3 hours.
yep,
It's not like
exactly.
it's not like this opening artist is preventing the main artist from coming on.
Right,
But so
right,
often people are like, fuck this, I hate you.
right. I'm gonna throw a bottle of piss at you.
Yeah. I think there's a pretty famous oh god, you're gonna have to hit me with the forgetting a name music or something like that. Shit.
Just for that, you know what you
Yeah.
get.
Yeah. Hit me. I'm gonna have the name. Nope, that's not even it. I can't even. Oh, I'm getting duped. Well, it's a comedian who will be named later. No, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna track this down.
Man on a mission.
Yeah, hold on. It's a comedian who was cut. He's in There Will Be Blood for like 2 seconds, and I'm blanking on his name. This is terrible. I can't believe it. Okay, hold on. I've got it. I have a search term that's going to bring it up. And he's like one of my favorites. I can't believe I'm blanking on this. And I can't believe fucking Bing is Bing is killing me on this too.
Is
Oh
it?
my
It's not
god.
Bill Burr.
No, it's I can't believe it's okay. I've got like I've got all these different things in my mind. Fuck. We're seriously gonna have to edit around this and like do like a put in the 2 hours later. But
I have
I'm
no
going
problem
to
with that. Yeah.
I'm going to get this. Okay, I think I'm going to get it now because I can search it on Spotify and I'm almost sure I know one of the track names
Oh,
on his
okay.
album. Okay, here we go. Here we go. I'm going to have it.
I might have to step.
Paul F. Tompkins.
Oh, sure, yeah.
See,
I
now
might
I
have
don't
to
even
step
remember
away in
why.
five. Just a heads up.
Oh, and Paul F. Tompkins famous has a really good I'll have to figure out exactly which album it's on, but he has a really good story about he was like infamously booked as an opening act for a rock band, and he's like, the worst idea of all time is having a comedian as the opening act for your rock band because you're coming out like, all right, everybody, are you ready to rock out and have a good time? Here's some guy who's gonna talk to you for like a half hour or whatever. Yeah.
I think it
yeah,
used to be a more common thing back in the 70s too, like where they would kind of pair up like that. I mean, I guess if the whole audience is baked, it's probably a great time, but yeah,
yeah.
if it's like a high energy type thing, like
Oh no,
it's kind of
yeah,
weird.
yeah. I think he was. Yeah, I forget what band he was talking about, but yeah, it was. He gets he gets abused. Anyway, so you're saying like this album back then, like between that and it was kind of a relaxing album for you, which is interesting because like I'm pretty sure our guest and a few I think on Bandsplain it's noted as like a almost a painful album to listen to because it's so dark and
Yeah, and that's the funny thing, in kind of digging into this one is it's definitely changed its meaning and its tone. Like,
yeah.
but before,
Like you
you know,
took,
I mean,
like when you were taking it just as is, you're like, well, this is
this is
this is much
chill.
more
This is
relaxing than Slayer. Like,
right, and there is the relativity is a funny thing like that too. When we go from listening to Iron Maiden and death metal and then put on this at the end of the night, like, yeah, there's a little bit of a difference.
yeah, and for me, I mostly just recall back then being familiar with Angel, probably from that movie Snatch. But I do recall from there I had listened to this album at least once or checked it out at the time, but not much more other than that. And I was really just kind of aware of the name Massive Attack as part of
Yeah.
there's a lot of different electronic acts and like UK stuff back then that I was into, that I knew the name was kind of orbiting around the whole thing.
Yeah.
So I wasn't super familiar with this album, other than Angel, when I came to it this time. But yeah, I was very,
Well, you brought it up a little bit ago too, but like, it's impossible for me to either have somebody talk about House or see Hugh Lowry and immediately like that song not start playing in my head, just from the theme. It's just kind of like forever ingrained, That's funny how this works actually, I guess. 10 years later, mid 2000s, when that show was on, that'd be like a show I'd fall asleep to all the time too. So like, how many times did I hear, that little part of Teardrop, over and over and over and over throughout the night? It's like, okay, yeah, I know that. I don't know who does that sound. I don't know where that's from. Oh yes, I do. Wait, that's Massive Attack. Oh yeah, that's
yeah,
why
it's
I
always
know that.
interesting. Sometimes you'll look up like what's a band's most popular or most played track, and you're like, why is it this one? And like 9 times out of 10, when you go and look it up, like, oh, it got played in this moment of like a very popular movie, or yeah, it's being used as a theme song for this show you don't watch.
Right.
And you're like, oh,
Oh,
okay.
this is on the finale of Gilmore Girls. That's why it's the
Yeah,
most popular.
so
Yeah.
it's dropped at
Okay.
the end of a episode of Lost.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. So, but I do this is a good album. I don't know if it's my most beloved of the list so far, but it's up there. It's not among the ones that I don't want to listen to again. It's, can you hear that? Okay. Anyways, it's my neighbor's dog.
Oh, I thought your offspring was
no,
having
I don't
like
have breaking news that we've adopted or anything, but no, it's our.
You
it's
don't
our
have
neighbor's
you don't
dog.
have a werechild?
No.
No. Okay. Good.
I'm
Like,
gonna
turns into
give
a
it
puppy.
a second here.
Yeah.
See if we need to cut this out.
Yeah, I mean, it's
I don't know. Maybe he's all right. He's a good dog though. He's nice. So I guess I'll jump right into yeah. Give it. To
I think I need to pick up my kid.
Oh, okay.
Are you going to be around in 20 minutes?
Oh,
Or do we just need to, like, tonight or something, finish the last 30, 40 minutes?
yeah. I'm sure if I
Or even tomorrow morning,
yeah,
like
I'm
your
sure.
work.
Yeah, either tonight or tomorrow morning. Tonight may work, just because I'd be able to say like, oh, it's only going to be like 30 or to an hour.
Yeah,
But
I
if
mean, at
not-
this point, we're talking favorite songs, multiverse,
Yeah, if not,
and
if not, we can meet
wrap
up.
up.
In the morning. But yeah, Vince was saying we got to go pick up something in an office here that's going to be
Okay.
open at 9:30. So
good mutual
so
time
yeah,
then.
that matches up. That's all right.
Okay, awesome.
Sweet.
Good
We're
work.
almost there.
Yeah.
All right, see ya.